I'm so glad you tuned in to this online YouTube channel that I have. It's a place where I express my opinions. Now, they are not unfounded opinions, but you can still disagree with them because everybody has opinions. But my opinions are based upon several things. Number one, I've been around people all of my life as a counselor, a sales trainer, a life coach, and a pastor, and a public speaker, and an author of 2 books. And I'm going to give you some ideas that I have that will make you successful or unsuccessful. And you can choose to listen or not to listen, to respond or not to respond. If you're enjoying this YouTube channel, I invite you to subscribe to it. Press like, press subscribe, tell your friends about it. But let's get into what we're discussing today, okay? I was looking at an article that had Magic Johnson on the Today Show, and he said to his son, I applaud you, congratulate you for living out your truth. And I got to thinking about this. This phrase is being thrown around even in Christian circles, among our churches, among our politicians, among different groups within our culture. Everybody is saying, I'm living out my truth. I'm being what I believe that I am. I'm believing what I believe to be. You know, Shakespeare said to be or not to be. So there are some people that don't know exactly who they are, what they are, where they're going, where they've been, where they are now. But yet you can know. The problem with our society is we are throwing to the wind all absolutes. For instance, if I stand on the edge of a cliff and I get too close to the edge of that cliff and a gust of wind comes along, it can blow me over. Now, I can deny that. I can say I can get as close to the edge as I want to, and no wind is strong enough to blow me over. But you know what? The proof is in the pudding, as my mother used to say. There have been people that have fell off of cliffs, been blown off of cliffs, and of course, there have been people that have jumped off of cliffs because their truth was, I want to kill myself. I'm ready to die. But this online YouTube channel is here to equip you to live a happy life, a joyful life, a life that is centered around certain values. Now, true disclaimer, I think that value should be Jesus Christ. But I also realize I have other religions and other people of different faiths and different belief systems watching. So for now, I'm not going to be preachy. I'm just going to say you have to have certain values. Let me explain. 4 plus 4 equals 8. 8 plus 8 equals 16. Now, according to our public school system right now, they say that our math scores are at an all-time low. It appears to me that our teachers need to be teaching more on history and math than they should be teaching on gender equality. Texas Christian University, right here in Texas, has just started a new drag course. Now, I'm not sure exactly what that means, but I'm not sending my children and grandchildren to college to learn drag. I want them to learn business, economics, sociology, psychology, math, and you get what I'm saying. But yet our colleges and even our high schools and our elementary schools are turning into wokeness. Now, for those of you that may not know that phrase, I'm sure most of you do though, but wokeness means I've woke up. Woke up to what? Woke up to a different perspective. Woke up to a different reality. So that's what we're talking about today, a different reality. So I'm speaking to you about psychological contagion. There are reports right now among our psychologists that say there is a contagion of thought. Now, contagion means contagious. And usually we apply that word with diseases, diseases that are easily spread, diseases that are easily gotten from your friend, from touching somebody, or somebody sneezing on you, coughing on you, or maybe you touching the doorknob where somebody else has just walked through and they sneezed on their hand. So contagion means something that is contagious. So there is a train of thought that is psychologically contagious. That's why it's called psychological contagion. It is being spread among our woke culture. And part of that contagion is, I accept you living out your truth. So that makes me come to the realization, what is truth? What is truth? Let's go back to this example. We're going to build a house together, okay? When you build a house, you build it with a ruler. You build it with 1 inch, and you build it with 12 inches equals a foot, and you build it with 14 inches, 16 inches, 18 inches, 24 inches. You build it with 3 feet, make a yard, and that's how you build a house. Now, what if you came in here and said to me, and we're building a house right now, and you said, Bruce, I've got a new idea of measurement. Okay, what is it? Well, we're going to build this house on 11 inches. We're going to build it on 22 inches instead of 12 inches and 24 inches and 6 inches. Well, what you don't know is your Home Depot, your Lowe's, all your lumber yards, they sell lumber by our normal footage, 1 foot, 4 foot, 6 foot, 8 foot, 12 foot, 10 foot. They don't sell it by 11 inches, 22 inches, and you get what I'm saying. So now you've got a whole industry because of you, because you want to change and build houses on an 11-inch rule, that we've got to change a whole industry of drywall, of roofing, of plywood, of stud walls, of floor joists, roof trusses. We've got to change everything up. And when you do that, you create an upheaval in the entire system. Now, my question is, why would you want to do that? Are you being rebellious? You're saying, well, I just kind of think that we ought to go with 11 inches and not do the 12 inch and the 24 inch and the 3 feet make a yard and so on. Well, when you do that, and then you say, if you say that I am wrong, you're being cruel, you're being racist, bigoted, and you are being builder phobic to me. Well, then that paralyzes me. It ties my hands. I can't criticize you for being an 11-inch, 22-inch builder, even though when you build your house, there's more waste of lumber, and the house is cockeyed. It doesn't look right. And then we get into building codes. Will you be approved by the building code of your city? Because they're going to look at the foundation, even the concrete, even the blocks are built on 6 inches, 8 inches, 10 inches, 12 inches, and so on. So you're talking about a total change of building culture because you have decided that you want to make that change. And we have to accept that change. I want to know what your agenda is. Let me give you another example. I love horses. Anybody that knows me, I love horses. Let me make a statement. I believe everybody should own a horse. I believe you should own a horse. You would enjoy it. You would love to go out there and feed the horse and clean the stalls out and ride the horse and camp out. Yeah, I know that you would love it. Then you find out that I am the seller of horses. That you can't buy a horse. I've created a desire for you to buy the horse. I've marketed. You've seen my commercials on television. So now you are desiring to buy a horse. So you go to buy the horse and you find out that I own every stable in the United States. And you can only buy a horse from my stables. Gets worse. Well, after you buy the horse, you need a bridle, you need a saddle, you need some cowboy boots, cowboy hat, you need some jeans, and so on. Guess what? I also own all the Western stores in the United States. So I'm going to make money off the selling of the horse. I'm going to make money off of the clothes and the saddles. Then you're in the city, so you need to board a horse. Guess what? I own all the barns that are in the United States. So you're paying me several times over. Do you think that I have an agenda? Was my agenda pure? Was I really pure in my agenda when I said, hey, I want you to own a horse. I think you'll have fun. No, my agenda was money making. Because I own the horses, I own the barns, I own the Western clothing centers, the saddles. I own, let's go on. I own the feed stores. I own the horse trailer manufacturers in the United States. So virtually I've got everything tied up. Now I know that's a crude and funny illustration, but there's some things I'm saying without actually saying them, and I hope that you get my drift. There is an agenda behind the psychological contagion that we are seeing in today's culture about living out your truth. Your truth may be wrong. And you know what? Even if you think it's right, does not mean that it is right. You've got to know that. Let's say that I'm a doctor, okay? I'm a doctor, and you come to me because you've got some issues with your body. So I come out after all the tests have been made, and I say to you, God forbid, that you have a growth on your kidney. You can say to me, why are you being so cruel? Why are you being so mean to me? And I would say back to you, as a doctor, I'm not being mean. I'm not being cruel. I'm giving you what I've observed through the x-rays and the scans of your body that I believe for you to have a growth. Now you can choose not to believe it. You can actually choose to say, I'm never going back to that doctor again. That's perfectly fine. But you cannot take away my right to look at an observance and then say what my opinion is about that observance. When I see a grown man walking into a girl's restroom, my observance, that ought not to be. You may say, well, I have a right. Well, you really don't have that right, because the observance is that this child does not need to see a grown man in a women's restroom. That's not right. And yet for me to try to explain that, we get in the weeds real big, because we're living in a society that it has to be explained. It has to be explained. And even after it's explained, there are people that still don't get it. They don't understand. Why? Because of a psychological contagion. If you are gay, if you are transgender, I'm not here to judge you. I'm not here to say you're wrong. I'm not going to say that. Now, if you came to me for counseling and we were under the auspices of counseling and you wanted to know some things that are right, things that are wrong, things that will make you happy, things that will make you unhappy, and how do I get my life to line up, that's a totally different atmosphere. So I would be free to tell you some things that I believe could make you have a better life. But for the purpose of this episode, I'm not going to make an opinion about you being gay, transgender, whatever your proclivity is to whatever you want to be. But I believe that that right needs to be at 18, does not need to be at 6. Because I know of teenagers at 13 that had a tattoo. And at 18, they wished to God they had never had the tattoo. But their parents let them have it. And now it's become unsightly to them. We are seeing a host of people that have had minor surgeries to change their sex. And now at 20, 25, 30, they are regretting that it happened. I think there's two sides here. There's a physical side. There's an emotional and mental side. We're saying that physically you will feel better about yourself if you have this done. But this emotional and psychological and mental side may not have matured enough for you to understand the pros, the cons, the negative, the positive to that kind of an abrupt truth that you have in your life. So I'm here to tell you, I believe your truth is wrong. I believe it's wrong at 12. I believe it's wrong at 6. And I believe the stats are in. The data is in. The problem with today's American Psychological Association is that when you come in and you say, I have an issue, they begin to affirm that issue. Did you know that even adults who are attracted to children, which we used to call pedophilia, is now called adult minor attraction? That now psychologists are simply affirming, yes, I understand you have that issue. I understand you have that problem. But yet, years ago, it would say that's abnormal. You don't need to have that problem, so I'm here to counsel with you to get you beyond that, because that is an unacceptable behavior in our culture. Now, is it acceptable for me to drive the wrong way on an interstate? Absolutely not. There have been people killed, drunk drivers, so to speak. And some weren't drunk. They just got on the wrong, I don't know how they did it. They got on the wrong ramp and they began to drive the wrong way. What about if I'm driving down a road that's 2-lane and there is a yellow line in the middle and I'm supposed to be on my right side going forward, but I decide to be on my left side? But when I cross that line, what happens? I'm setting myself up for a wreck. I'm either going to hurt someone coming my way, or I'm going to hurt myself. Or I may kill them, or I may kill myself. Why? Because I didn't adhere to the basic principles of driving. What is that? Stay in the lane. Stay in the right lane. Stay on the right path. The right path. I live in Houston, Texas. We go to San Antonio, the Great River Walk, the Alamo, and we take Interstate 10. And we go west. We go west on Interstate 10. But my truth, remember, I'm living out my truth now. My truth is, I've decided to go my own way to San Antonio. Okay. I'm going to go north. I'm going to go 45 north. Well, that actually takes me to Dallas. Does not take me to San Antonio. So I'm driving my car on 45 north, and the whole time I'm driving, I tell anyone in the car with me, I say, well, we'll be in San Antonio in just another hour. No, we won't. I can't wait till I get to San Antonio. My friends, I want to show you the Alamo. I want to show you the Great River Walk and the shopping and all of that. Well, we're never going to get there. We may want to get there, but we're taking a path that actually takes us further away. And I think when you and I go down this road of our own truth, we are going down a path that is taking us further away. You see, I do not need to live a selfish life. I want to be happy, so I'm going to live for me. I'm going to do what I want to do. We learned that as little children, but that was a wrong train of thought. Our nation was founded by people that, remember Nathan Hale? They were going to hang him, and he said, I regret that I only have one life to give for my country. He was a patriot, and he began to give. Our whole world is filled with Mother Teresa's and Gandhi and great leaders and great people who have given themselves and even given their money, given their talents, given their service so that others around them could be better off and built up. So when I take a selfie on that cliff of me, and the wind blows me off and I die, you might say my selfie, my selfishness, killed me. I wanted to go to San Antonio, but instead of going west, I went north. I wanted to be able to reach the goals of my life, the ambitions of my life, the dreams of my life, the completeness of my life. But I found out that instead of reaching any of that, I've become more empty, and I have a larger hole in my life. There is no doubt a psychological contagion that has become a part of our culture. Now, I come from the culture of the hippie movement. I saw LSD drop from the skies, rock concerts and so on, where people just went headlong into the drug culture. And at the end of their day, they committed suicide. At the end of their day, they lost their mind. I've talked with people that couldn't even make a full sentence because of the drug culture that they lived for only 1 or 2 years. They literally blew their mind. In trying to find themselves, they lost themselves. Many of us are trying to find ourselves. I want to be this, I want to be that. When I was a little boy, I wanted to be a motorcycle riding, horseback riding preacher. That's what I would tell everybody. That's what I want to be. Well, I did become a Harley rider. I sold it after I got a little too old to trust myself riding it. But I still have my horses and I still ride. I have played roles. I've put on the black jacket. I put on the do-rag. Put on the leather chaps and rode my Harley. My grandson rode behind me and we turned up the rock music. And at the stoplight, we both shook our head to the beat of the music. It was fun. We were playing. It was role play. I knew that I was not really a biker. I'm not that type of personality. I'm just playing a role, you know. And I had a lot of friends that were real bikers. Some of them had come out of the bad life that I would counsel and helped, but they had come out of the bad life. And so I played and I rode with them and we went to rallies and so on. We walked around like everybody else. But I was not a biker. That was not my truth. My truth is in selfishness, no, selflessness. And the heart of every successful person is in helping others. putting your goals aside, your dreams aside, and trying to find a why that goes beyond yourself. If your why is only for you, this is why I exist, this is why I make money, this is why I am here, is for me, then you're never going to be happy. I'm sorry. You're on your way to Dallas trying to get to San Antonio. You're never going to be happy. And I want you to be happy. I want you to feel good about yourself. If you're 18 and you decide that you're gay, if you're 18, you decide you're transgender, I've counseled with you before, I've helped you before, and some I have not helped at all. And that's what you want to become, that's fine. That's fine with you and your friends that you live with. What I'm asking, you'll not be happy at 11 or at 9 or at 6. And parents, if you're pushing for that among our adolescents, you are wrong. Our minds have to mature. We have to make choices. When the old school was when you turned to 18, your parents, when you were 16, they would say something like, not in my house. When you get 18, you can do whatever you want to do, but not right now. And I think we're losing that, where parents, coaches, mentors, even pastors are saying, you're 11 and you have an immature thought of definition. I applaud it. I applaud it. And I'm here to support you in it. And I think the elephant in the room that we haven't talked about is the suicide rate among those that are trying to explore about what they want to become and who they want to become. And they say, if I don't become this, then I'm just going to kill myself. Well, that's kind of like holding all of society under a gun. So we are not free now to express any opinion because our opinion might trigger something. And that triggering may be your own self-destruction. Parents are being held hostage in their own home. Pastors are being held hostage by changing their own theology to adapt to the culture. Because they say things like, God is love. God doesn't want anybody to die. And then you say, well, if you don't agree with me, I'm going to kill myself. And the pastor says, okay, no problem. I agree with you, so I'm going to change my value system so I can agree with you. We cannot change values. 2 + 2 = 4. We cannot change the building blocks that make a morally sound, character sound society. We cannot change any of those things. Proverbs chapter 4, verse 7 says, wisdom is the principal thing. That's what I'm trying to achieve right now. I'm trying to establish some wisdom. Like, let's just stop this train for a moment. This train's going pretty fast. And we're actually moving into oblivion where nothing matters anymore. There's some people that say that they are an animal. Yes, yes. There's some people that say that they have a problem, that they see themselves blind. One woman in England actually took acid and put her eyes out because she saw herself as disabled. So where is this going to stop? I mean, this train is not leading to happiness. If San Antonio is happiness, you take Route 10, you go west. You do not go 45 north to go to Dallas. Dallas is not the happiness. San Antonio is the happiness. I want you to achieve this goal of happiness, fulfillment, peace. But all of us have had a hole in our heart. All of us has tried to fill that hole with greed, with avarice, with self-identity, with everything. When Shakespeare said, "To thine own self be true," he was not speaking from a biblical standpoint. He was speaking from the selfish standpoint that be true to yourself, be true to your truth. I don't know about you, but I've lived some lies in my life that I thought were truth. Only to find out as I matured, as I studied, as I became more educated, more well-read, and even deeper in my walk of faith with Christ, I found out my truth changed because I was trading my truth for the real truth. You remember the story of Pilate? Pilate said, "What is truth?" And he had Christ right in front of him. Jesus said, "I am the way. I'm the truth and the life." There are three things there. Way, I'm the direction. The direction for what? For fulfillment, for peace, for joy, for identity. I'm the fulfillment. I am the way, the truth. I am the truth. 4 + 4 = 8. 12 inches = a foot. I am the truth to build your life, the truth to build your house, the truth to build your family, your goals, your aspirations, your ambitions. And I am the life. Life what? Life of fulfillment, life of joy, life of feel good. Feel good about myself. I was trying to feel good about myself by seeking myself. But I traded that search for another search. I began to care more about people than I cared about myself. I began to care more about issues that hurt people than I care about myself. And then I began to care more about my faith than I care about myself. Have you ever had any unhappiness? I have. Have you had any loss, any death, any tragedy? I have. But guess what? My faith and my value system and my belief that there is a higher power, my belief there is a better way, has brought me through that time. If you're in a time of searching right now for identity, time of searching for fulfillment, I'm here to tell you, just hold on. Don't make any quick and rash decisions. Seek for values that line up with the God that created you. He didn't create me as a motorcycle rider. He didn't create me as a person who loves horses. That came because of my experiences. He created me in his image. So guess what? The one that made this watch, I go back to the watchmaker when there's a problem. So the one who created me, I go back to him. Lord, who am I? What is truth? I'd like for you to hit the like button, the notification button, the subscribe button, because I want to get back with you. Let me close today with Proverbs 4:7. I'll read the whole scripture this time. Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom. And with all thy getting, get understanding. Understand what the information, what the wisdom is giving to you. Thank you so much for being with me on my YouTube channel today.